YouTube, and welcome back to another episode here at WILDMAN Lives. I'm your host, WILDMAN. On today's episode, I thought I would answer some questions about what I personally do when I'm warming up for a heavy lift or for a heavy workout session. There was also some questions about what I do for stretching as well. Now, typically, before you're about to lift heavy weight or you're about to exercise really hard, it's better to get your muscles primed for the movements you're about to do than stretching. It's better to stretch at the end of your workouts because then your muscles are nice and warm and already ready to be stretched out, so you'll get the most out of it for recovery. So I thought I would share my priming movements that I do as my warm-up before I jump into my giant set formats. So let's jump in and see what those things are. So the very first thing I do before every single workout is I try to get my neck to activate. Now, I learned this little complex move in physical therapy, so I don't expect everybody to get it right away. The most important thing that you need to do is just get your neck warmed up. Stretch it out, move it around, do what you got to do. Just make sure that before you start, your neck is ready to go and is priming all the little muscles in your central nervous system to get going. The next thing I do is I put a baseball into a long tube sock. I throw that over my back and I pin it against the wall. And then the muscle that is between my shoulder blade and my back, I try to really dig in deep there. And I call this exercise sock ball for obvious reasons. It's gonna hurt a lot in the beginning, especially if you're not used to it. But over time, it actually gets easier and easier the more you do it. And also keep your back loose, which is going to be pivotal no matter what kind of workout you're doing for the day. You're going to need your back to not be pulling on your shoulders. The next thing that I'll do is I'll put my chest muscle onto a barbell, and then I'll do what's called T-crosses. Basically, I move my arm up and down for about 10 repetitions, and then I move it side to side to make a T or a cross, whatever you want to picture. And this is to get the pec loose, because this is where shoulder impingements usually happen, is your pec is pulling on your shoulders, and that's why your shoulder hurts. The next thing I'll do once I do the both pecs is I'll take my lat and I'll do the same thing. I'll do T-crosses. Now, this is to get my lat, again, activated and to get blood there and to take a little bit of pressure off my shoulder. So with the pec and my lats being massaged like this, I'm able to not have any shoulder impingements because both those muscles will pull my shoulders down against the bone. And that's your body letting you know that the nerves are exposed and uncomfortable. So doing things like these will actually help avoid shoulder impingements. The next thing I'll do, which you could take a band or a cable or a PVC pipe or a barbell, is do dislocates. And basically I'm just bringing it front to back and I'm activating all of my muscles, and I do this in an explosive manner. The next thing I do is called Lisi's rotators. Now, I learned this from the great strongman, Martins Lisis. He did this every single time he started one of his YouTube videos. And basically, I take 2.5 pound weights, I bring them up to eye level, pull my shoulders back, and then just dip my shoulders down and back like this with my hands. And that really activates my rotator cuffs and warms them up for the big lifts. So the next thing I do is called forward hip swings. Now this is to get my hips mobile and warmed up and loose for whatever I'm about to do today. And then once I'm done with that, you guessed it, I then walk backwards and do the exact same thing. Now this is a very athletic move because you're going to be doing this if you're playing sports, and it carries over a lot into weightlifting as well. These are called pendulum swings, which is pretty obvious as to why that is. And it basically is just to get your hips warmed up again. And then I do what's called airplanes to really try to open up that hip joint. And I do a couple repetitions on each side. Same thing with the pendulum swings. I usually do about 5 to 10 on each side, dependent upon the day and how jammed up they are. And the last thing I'll do is a paused goblet squat. Now, you could do this with a kettlebell, with a dumbbell. It really doesn't matter. I was doing it with a med ball just because that was out that day. And the point is to really pause on the bottom and really get comfortable down there and try to get all of your legs and hips and back all working together at once. And that's what I do every session. Ever since I've been doing this routine, I have stayed injury-free for years. I used to always get shoulder impingements, knee, joint pain, hip pain, lower back pain, and wrist pain and elbow pain, and anything you could think of. And doing these priming movements before a workout, whether it's an upper body or lower body day or a strongman day, has maintained keeping me injury-free. So hopefully you can find the time to look up some of these exercises and figure out how to do them for yourselves. When it comes to stretching, like I said, I do that after my workout, and I'm going to do a separate video about that. Thanks for joining me tonight, and good night.